who you are higher on than the general NBA draft consensus. And you have gone with Jaden Ivey, I guess routinely mocked in the top 4 of this NBA draft, a 6'4", 20-year-old guard out of Purdue. So if he's routinely mocked, usually at number 4, and you're higher on him, how high are you?
As high as you can be.
Ooh.
I mean, it's tough. It's more of a my kind of personal rule. If I have 2 prospects, or in this case 4 prospects, kind of at the same level, I'm just gonna go with the guy who will have the ball the most. That's why I had Cunningham over Mobley last year, because those players end up being the most impactful players. I mean, that's just how it works. And I think that Ivy, his athleticism is high enough, but it's not like he doesn't have a pretty high skill floor. And I just feel like he has a level. He did it a few times. There's an Illinois game, I remember, a Michigan game. Those are the 2 that really stand out, where he just sort of decided the game was over and just made 4 or 5 straight plays where it just ended the game. And I feel like a 6'4", 195-pound guy with a 6'9" wingspan, I mean, that's almost exactly John Wall's measurables. I think he can be that. That's a good player. Is he
a point guard, though? Like, what's his...
I think so.
Okay, so is he a point guard level, like a point guard player like Ja Morant, who is got the high level passing skills as well as the high usage ball control? Is his passing up? Like, he averaged 3 assists and 2.6 turnovers last season, which is not great. It's not a great assist to turnover ratio. Can he be a guy that is more selective and more creative for others, or is he going to be more of that higher usage, not as creating for others sort of player?
Kind of a mix. I think part of the thing is Purdue had a very egalitarian system. They always do. Travion Williams was like their main assist guy. They don't really have they didn't run as much straight pick and roll with him as I think they should have. They have too many set plays for Stefanovic and Eric Hunter and all these other fine players, good college players. And they also, Purdue is, I think they post up as much as anyone in college basketball. And when you have 2 good centers, I mean, it makes sense. But I think he can run a lot of... I mean, I think any kind of high pick and roll, if you're not at the level with him, or if you're at the level or higher on him, if you don't have like Evan Mobley out there defending him, if it's a 1-5, he's in the paint. Like, that's really what it is for me. Is he has such great burst and ability to get to his spots. I mean, one of the weird criticisms of him was he doesn't take a lot of 8 to 15 footers, and you want to see that, sure, but why not take layups if you can get layups? Yeah, is really the thing with him. And I think he can run all that. He's already improved. I think over the season, he's very obviously a guy who never had to slow down. Kind of the Russell Westbrook thing. He'd always go as fast as he wanted, and he's already figured out how to get to his spots, how to get bigs out towards him. He tortured Kofi Cockburn when they played Illinois. Just torched him over and over. And that's, Kofi Cockburn's probably not an NBA player for that reason, but I think he can do these things. I think he's a fine passer, not really anything spectacular, but I think also how the NBA works now, you can have multiple ball handlers. I think he's your rim guy. He's your rim pressure guy, and I think he could be one of the 10 best guys in the league at that, just getting into the paint. And I think that's enough to make you a guard. He's not like a 2 guard. He's not like a Beal type guy where he just pounds the ball on the perimeter over and over.
In terms of, I said this on my show yesterday, talking about guys who sort of come from nowhere from freshman year to sophomore year. Like they're as a freshman and they're playing limited minutes, and then they move into a sophomore and they step up and they're in this top 4 discussion. And I always have a level of skepticism, more so when guys do it, they struggle for freshmen and sophomores, and then as seniors they dominate. Okay, well, that's a real problem. So what was the issue with him as a freshman? Why did he not declare for the draft? Why was he not able to be at that level as his first year, as so many of these other high-level players are?
I think if he declared last year, I probably would have still had him in the first round-ish. I mean, I had Daishen Nix in the first round. Last year was not a deep draft. I like Daishen Nix a lot. I think he could be decent, but he was not exactly impressive for a lot of his G League run. I just think he didn't know how to run. He was just a straight... The problem, too, and this is the class that we're really seeing. Adrian Griffin's a good example. These are the guys who lost their junior or senior years to COVID. And a lot of these guys are way behind. I think that's one of the reasons Keegan Murray was ahead, because he's older and just knew what he was doing. But there's an interesting Ivy, Johnny Davis. Let's see, Adam Miller was on that team, but there were 5 or 6 current guys who were going to be in this draft on the FIBA U19 Americas team.
Ty.
And every single one of those guys came back stronger, except maybe Ted Holmgren, because he was already kind of where he was.
Yep.
But that seems to be a recurring thing, because that happened in the 2 years ago in the 2019 game. Tyrese Halliburton was on that team, and that second year was his big year. He really jumped up, and he was playing with Cade Cunningham and Scotty Barnes, and was one of the 3 main guys on the team, which is impressive. That should have been a sign that he was probably worth a top 10 pick.
Yeah, I remember that that under-19 run from Halliburton where he was, obviously really, really impressive. Then he's had obviously a great start to his career.